Hello! In recent videos, we have been discussing the January 2023 Diversity Visa cutoff numbers. The next visa bulletin, which will contain the new cutoff numbers, those to apply in the month of February 2023, will be released very soon. And many are looking forward to that. But before we get to see those cutoff numbers, what can we say concerning them? That is what we will be considering in today's discussion. Welcome as we go into the discussion. All right, we have just entered the month of December, and as usual, most diversity visa applicants are looking forward to the publication of the next visa bulletin. I have been receiving questions concerning the date of publication, and so let's begin with that. When will the next visa bulletin, that is the visa bulletin for the month of January 2023, be published? We cannot pinpoint a date when the next visa bulletin is expected to be published. The visa office does not give advance notice when it comes to that. We only get to know whenever the bulletin appears on the official website. Now, although we do not know the exact date when it will be published, what we do know is the time of the month when it is usually published. And that time of the month is the second week. That is from the 8th of the month to the 15th of the month. However, there may be early or late release of the visa bulletin. In cases when the visa bulletin is released early, it appears on the official website a day or a couple of days before the second week of the month. And that is what we experienced in the case of the November visa bulletin, which was released on October 7th. That's one day to the second week of the month of October. And then you have cases when the bulletin is delayed, it goes beyond the second week, that is late publication. And in such a case, it appears a day to a few days after the end of the second week. And that was the case of the most recent visa bulletin, the visa bulletin for the month of December. It was released on November 17th. So expect the visa bulletin during the second week of the month, but also be aware that it is possible to appear a little earlier or sometime later than that second week. But what is sure is that it will and must be published. There is no such thing as a month is skipped without the visa bulletin being published. The visa bulletin concerns all forms of immigration to the United States, not just the diversity visa program. And that is why you have different pieces of information as well as other tables in the visa bulletin that you may not understand. But those pieces of information and tables are used by applicants of other forms of immigration to the United States when it comes to being informed about their respective immigration programs. And so a month does not go by without the visa office publishing the visa bulletin. So just in case you expect to see the bulletin during the second week of the month and you do not see it, rest assured that it will be published. Simply continue to look for it until you finally see it. Now, the next thing has to do with the numbers. What do we expect the new cutoff numbers for the month of February to be? That's the question I have also received from a number of applicants. A few years back, you only needed to see how the program was going and then you knew exactly what was coming next. You could say things before they even happened, but things have changed. For some time now, we have realized that the current visa office has another approach, another way of interpreting things as compared to their predecessors. And so because of that, we cannot say this is what we expect to happen and this is what we do not expect to happen. And that also applies to the upcoming cutoff numbers. We could say this is what to expect, but the question is, will the current visa office see things in that same manner? And recent experience has shown that that is not obvious. And so what is normal these days is to let the numbers be released, and then we can try to make sense of it and inform you as appropriate. That's the current normal approach, but I'm going to give my impression concerning a couple of things based on questions that I have been receiving. And the first one is whether I think the cutoff number for the month of February will jump as the date in the case of the month of January. Now, it is not impossible to have the cutoff numbers jump. As I said earlier, recent actions by the current visa office do not follow the logic of old, and so it is possible for them to increase the cutoff numbers to a high extent once again for reasons best known to themselves. But I personally do not expect that to happen. I think if they want to do such a thing, they will give it a month or two before doing so. That's what I think personally, for those of you who have been asking. And then the next one has to do with the doubling of the cutoff numbers in the Africa region. Some of you suggested that the cutoff numbers have been doubling in the Africa region since the beginning of this program. That is from 5,700 for the months of October and November to 9,000 for the month of December, and now to 20,000 for the month of January. And so your question is whether I think that trend is going to continue. That is, whether we are going to have 40,000 for the month of February. Now, the first thing is that we cannot say that the cutoff numbers in the Africa region have been doubling. From 5,700 to 9,000, that is less than double. And then from 9,000 to 20,000, that is more than double. But when it comes to whether I think we will have 40,000 for the month of February, it brings us back to the first question that I gave my impression on. That is not impossible when you consider the actions of the current visa office. But as I said, I personally do not expect it to happen for the month of February. And then finally, to the issue of interview notification. A lot of you continue to look forward to receiving your interview notification, and you continue to express concern. Now, regarding that issue, much has not changed. Once your case has met the conditions, you can expect to receive your interview notification. Most of you already know of those conditions, but every now and then someone asks what the conditions are. And so just to remind you of those conditions, you must have submitted your DS-260, and then in addition to that, your case number has to become current. So once your case has met both of those conditions, all you have to do is to continue to look for your interview notification. Now, for those of you who have been asking whether you were alone in such a situation, no, you are not alone. There are many cases that are expecting their interview notification. Many others have been expecting their interview notification for a number of months now, and to date, they have not yet received their interview notification. So you are not alone in this situation. If you wish, you can write to KCC to inquire concerning the status of your case, but that is not going to change how interviews are currently being scheduled in the diversity visa program. So all you can do is to keep your fingers crossed, continue looking in relevant locations, and let us hope for the best. All right, so that is all for today. Thanks for watching. If this channel has been of help to you, don't forget to make your voluntary donation by going to the channel homepage and clicking on the Donate Here button at your upper right hand corner. And let's continue the discussion in the comment area, and I will see you, God willing, in the next video. Goodbye.